Ahoy, Betty. Do you have a pitch for me? I sure do, Wilma. It's a new novel from TJ Klune. Do you have time to hear it? Well, I'm scheduled to have my rose-tinted lenses refurbished, but I always have time to hear about TJ Klune. Great. The title is Under the Whispering Door. Now, is it another adult novel like The House in the Cerulean Sea, or a middle-grade young adult novel like The Extraordinaries? An adult novel. Ah, wonderful, wonderful. So I liked the whimsical story of The House in the Cerulean Sea. Such a charming story about found families. So heartwarming, so charming. So what is this one about? Death. Death. Yes, death, but it's still whimsical and charming. A whimsical and charming story about death. Right, it's about a lawyer who dies and moves on to the afterlife. Ah, so it's a story about the afterlife, like that Albert Brooks movie, Defending Your Life with Meryl Streep. Right, sort of. The main character is Wallace Price, a middle-aged attorney who suddenly dies and moves on to the afterlife. Is he like the character of Linus in The House in the Cerulean Sea, an ordinary man with a heart of gold, a man lost in the bureaucratic system, yet has a strong moral compass, a man who is an unlikely hero torn in a struggle between the orderly life he now knows and the pull towards the chaos of friendship and love and family. Well, sort of, but no. Wallace is an attorney, so he's not a very nice person. In fact, the story opens with him firing a perfectly nice paralegal. He's actually a bit of an asshole. Oh, I do know something about attorneys. I suppose he started from the ground up in a large firm and was shaped by the cutthroat, money-obsessed culture there. No, actually, he and some friends started a law firm right out of high school, and it grew to be a huge, powerful practice. You know that is not how it works with attorneys and law firms. Anyway, he's really not a nice person. And the way TJ Klune writes it, it's actually very funny how much of a caricature he is, almost like Scrooge. I am aware of TJ Klune's lovely writing voice, a middle grade voice that has a fairy tale quality. He's what I call a Disney writer. Disney? Yes, you know how some stories adapted by Disney then go through the Disneyfication process of being rewritten in sort of an easily digestible manner, where all characters are drawn in broad strokes, moral messages are handed out in a ham-fisted manner, and ultimately nothing is in shades of gray. Rather, our heroes are perfect in an idealistic manner, totally departed from reality. Well, TJ Klune already starts there. He's already Disneyfied his own stories. I guess that's one way of looking at it. Let's back up. We have the Scrooge-type character of an attorney, and then he dies. What next? Well, he is a ghost who haunts his own funeral. Then he's picked up by the Grim Reaper. Ooh, scary. Not really. The Reaper is a young, sassy Asian woman named May who is new to the Reaper business, so it's really quite funny. Well, we like sassy, so she takes him to the afterlife. No, she takes him to a way station, sort of a holding place where you go before you move on to the afterlife. Oh, that sounds exciting. It is. It's a tea shop. What? I thought you said tea shop. I did. A tea shop run by a guy called Hugo, a handsome black man who is kind, sympathetic, forgiving, has the patience of Job, and is called a ferryman, someone living who helps ghosts pass over to the other side. He does all this on his own. Yes, well, no. He has May as his Reaper, and also there's a few more ghosts living with him. Ghosts he's helping to ferry to the other side. Not exactly. It's the ghost of Hugo's grandfather named Nelson and the ghost of Hugo's dog named Apollo. They haven't passed over to the other side. They stay to keep Hugo company. I see. So I suppose we see lots of ghosts passing through this shop. Not really. It's just Hugo. But if he's a ferryman, then why? Never mind. Let's go back to Wallace and Hugo. Let me take a wild guess. They eventually fall in love. Why would you think that? This is a TJ Klune story. Isn't there always a gay relationship that starts with a sudden realization that one man is attracted to another man? It starts off as an unrequited infatuation, and slowly over time there is a shocking revelation that the attraction isn't one-sided. So that doesn't happen? Okay, yes, it does. But it's well done. TJ Klune knows how to pull those heartstrings. Well, that's what Disney does. TJ Klune. Anyway, the story is more about the character arc of Wallace from asshole attorney to perfect human being. Now, since it is Disney, TJ Klune, by perfect human being, I suppose you mean someone so idealized it's hard to recognize any flaws. Well, going back to the Scrooge comparison, I take it there is a slow progression of his transformation. Not so slow. It happens pretty quickly, actually. By the midpoint, Wallace is pretty transformed. So, is there a big conflict that keeps the story moving? Anything? Well, there is a lot of talk of death and dying and the meaning of life. So we get deep philosophical ruminations of existence. I'm thinking Plato, Heidegger, Sartre, and so on. No, not really. It's kind of superficial, actually, being Disney. Klune. Ha! So it sounds like the middle is kind of stretched. But the ending is fantastic. Is it worth it to get there? Okay, I'm not sure if these elevator pitches are popular, but they're fun to do. If you like them, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Anyway, regarding Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to zap it. I'm sorry, but that only means I personally don't recommend it because I feel that the middle of the story was flawed because nothing really happens, and since Wallace transforms so quickly, I found it extremely saccharine, that relationship with him and Hugo. And this led me to thinking that Klune is kind of the Disney of writers insofar that there's this Pollyanna-like optimism and the characters are just so perfect that they could very well be pulled from a Disney movie, especially with the endings that end so spectacularly happy. There's no subtlety or dimension or shades of gray, but that type of writing really worked, I think, at least for me, in The House in the Cerulean Sea, but for me, it didn't work here. Again, just my opinion. If you didn't like House in the Cerulean Sea, I think you will hate Under the Whispering Door. On the other hand, if you enjoyed House in the Cerulean Sea, maybe you'll like this book. I will say that the ending got me. It definitely tugged at these old heartstrings, just like watching a Disney movie does. Klune knows how to manipulate emotions to get where he wants you to go. But was it worth it? Ultimately, I didn't think it was for me, but it may be for you. Until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.